everyone. Welcome. So this is Infertility Awareness Week. My name is Dr. Vita, and I am here with Sami Bee. And so throughout this week, I'm going to be throwing out stuff at you to help you, ladies that are still menstruating, ladies that are having hormonal issues. You're going to find a lot of great value this week from the speakers. So today we have Sami Bee. Tomorrow we're going to have Michelle. Michelle is Executive Director at Medical Marijuana Inc. So she's going to talk to us about CBD and trying to conceive. We have somebody on Friday coming to talk to us about sustainable menstruation. I'm going to talk about menstrual pads and how toxic menstrual pads and things like that are. Then Saturday, we have an EMF specialist coming to talk about low frequency radiation, how that affects fertility. But today we have to talk about weight loss. And I love talking about this. The women that I work with, I have to make sure that they are a normal weight before we can continue with any kind of fertility treatments, alternative medicine, etc. So weight loss is a big part of what I do, is making sure women are at an ideal weight for them to conceive. And so Sami Bee and I have done some things in the past. We did an excellent session before on weight loss. And so she's a great colleague of mine. And so let's welcome Sami Bee. Hi, Sami.
Hi.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a certified health and wellness coach. I generally work with women that are looking to drop some weight, get back their energy. My specialty is kind of women that are my age. I'm a little older. Women that have spent the last 20, 30 years raising the kids, having the family, having the career, doing everything for everyone else. And then they reach this point where they haven't taken care of themselves and they're tired and they put the extra weight on and they just don't have the energy to do all those things that they've kind of put off for so long and want to do. So that's who I work with. I work with people to get optimal nutrition, drop some weight, and relieve stress, which is a huge issue that I see with everybody these days. So it's good to be here.
Oh, great. Okay, so I'm so excited to talk to you as always. So you mentioned stress. So can I ask you just a little bit, when you're working with people, how much stress plays a role in weight gain? And even those that are underweight as well?
Yes. Stress seems to be, and it took me a little bit to realize, almost every client and most of my friends that I have talked to, especially in this last year with the pandemic, every problem that they seem to have when I started working with them, when it came down to the nitty-gritty, it wasn't so much about they weren't meal planning, they needed to schedule in workouts, they needed to clean up their diet. It was all about this running around kind of harried, crazed. They've got the kids with the schooling at home, they're working from home, their whole schedule has been uprooted, and they've just kind of lost their routine. And that has led to a lot of habits that are based around the stress eating, the not sleeping, the being too tired to work out or plan out their meals, the lack of energy in scheduling out their weeks or their days. So stress is the underlying issue to most of the issues that I have discussed with people in the last year. And once we get to the stress and address the stress, I see amazing changes in their lives within a few weeks.
Interesting. Okay, so I love all things hormones. I'm a hormone coach, and I think when I first met you, I was introduced to you as someone that's in the hormone arena. It's just that I'm with menstruating women, and you're more on the other glorious side of things, which I hope one day to be working with those types of women. All right, so let's just kind of talk about like how much hormones play. Of course, we know that stress and hormones are related, just because there are a lot of stress hormones that play a role in weight. So now what about hormones and weight loss?
Well, the stress kicks up the cortisol. The cortisol makes you hungry. Cortisol puts that weight around your belly that is hard to get rid of. It gets into your sleep. It can set off your entire balance of your body. So once we control the stress, we bring the cortisol levels down, things start to balance out a little bit better.
And one thing that I've noticed, not just with my clients, but with myself, when I have a lot of stress and my eating habits are scattered, I don't eat as much, right? And so you think that just because I don't eat as much, it would mean that I would lose weight. But it's just that I don't eat as much, but when I do eat, I'm just grabbing stuff. And so this then turns into constipation, then it turns into acne, then it's just like a whole cascade of issues that end up happening. So hormones, are controlling all of these other issues. So there's definitely a big interplay between those two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to take a second to say hi to everyone. So we have Patricia who says, hi, Vita. We have Glowmore who says, yay, Dr. Vita. We have Mucham Kelaba who says, go, Dr. Vita. I'm so happy to have you all here. We're streaming live on multiple different Facebook platforms, and I'm so happy to have you all here. So you feel free to throw in any questions that you have for Sami and I. We'll be happy to answer them. So last time you and I did a session together, we talked about using healthy fats to kind of speed up that metabolism and lose weight. And so there's also a misconception that if I eat fat, I will get fat. There's so much low-fat milk and low-fat this. They're taking all the fat out of certain things. So maybe we should start by educating people on, okay, which ones are the good fats? Like, is it okay to have the fat from milk? Or is it okay to have, like, because avocados have a lot of fat, so is that okay? What do you think about that?
Well, number one, I will say that at my age, I have watched an entire generation of women be told that fat is bad. And for many, many years, we had the fat-free cookies, the fat-free everything. And we were told, if you eat fat, you will get fat. And that leads to a lot of issues in the body because fat is vital to our organs, everything, our skin, our hair, everything in our body, our joints, keeping us moving and happy and balanced and happy, healthy. So taking all the fat out of our diet it was a couple of decades, we were afraid of fat. I have noticed that the trend going back to adding the healthy fats, which would be things like our dairy products, don't have to go full fat. Some people are a little afraid of fat. They're afraid if it says fat on the label. You don't have to go full fat, but maybe not with the skim. Things like butter, avocado, all great, wonderful, healthy fats. These are things that can help lower our cholesterol level. They make our organs work better. Personally, when I started adding a lot of healthy fats back into my diet, I saw the best improvement in my health of all the other things that I had done over the years. It was kind of amazing to me. And I noticed it in everything, my hair, my nails, my skin, my energy level. And just adding those fats, you will be satiated longer with your meals, and you're not likely to want to snack or be hungry again as quickly as if you're eating carbohydrates, which is what keto is.
Right. And so before we get to a wonderful, interesting question that we have, I do want to point out two different studies, and I love looking in the scientific literature. I'm a total scientific journal nerd. I publish lots of them. I read lots of them. There was a study that found that whenever you consume fats first, before you consume any other portion on your meal, eat the fattiest thing first and you lose more weight. So they followed a significant number of people, and then they saw these great results. So I tried it for myself a little bit when I still have some baby weight that I've tried to get rid of. And so I tried that, and that helps. So I just eat the fattiest thing first, and then I see that number one, I don't eat as much, but number two, I lose more weight whenever I do that.
Absolutely. And it's things just to make sure that we're being clear. The avocados, the chia seeds, the nuts, the vegetable oils, coconut oils, those things, eggs, those things, fatty fish is a big one. Those kind of foods are the good fats. I am not telling people by any stretch of the imagination to scarf down the French fries before they eat the chicken breast.
Right.
But it is maybe to add some avocado to your salad before you eat your meal, maybe a dressing with a higher fat content in it. It will fill you up faster. You will stay full longer, and those healthy fats will keep you balanced.
Okay, so we've got a great question here. What is the best oil to use for cooking?
That is, depending on who you ask, that question changes a lot. Personally, I use olive oil. That question, and you can Google that one and you will get 15 different answers.
Yeah.
Kind of a preference. Some oils cook at a higher level and burn faster, so it's kind of like a preference of what you want to use. As long as you're using something that is a pure and healthy fat that comes from a plant source.
Yeah, so I'm mostly working with women who are trying to regulate their cycles, who are trying to get pregnant, and so extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, those three, ghee sometimes as well.
Absolutely.
So those 4 are the ones that I suggest. I don't recommend anybody get canola oil or some of those other like type of processed oils. So just get something as natural, like know where it comes from, like no oil from soy and things like that.
Well, we live here in the South. We don't want to be doing the Crisco. I know that's a big thing. In the South, Crisco is big no. But yeah, I had to throw that in there because I've never quite seen anything quite like the Crisco use. So
yeah. So I see optimal health, like I said, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, the avocado oil, ghee, sesame oil. The toasted sesame oil, like if you're making like some kind of fried rice or something like that, can be okay as well. I'm okay with sesame oil as well. Just as long as it's coming from a good plant source, then usually it's good. All right. So last time we spoke, we also talked about keto.
Yes.
So you have experiences with keto. Tell us more about keto.
I thought that people were doing keto. I thought they were nuts for years. And I mean, I have a degree in nutrition and I would just think, what is this? This can't be right. And I'm very much a fruits and vegetables and grains kind of person. And I would look at this and say, but I didn't really think about it. I didn't do much research on it. And so during pandemic, I decided that I was going to throw my own self into my own project. And I tried keto. And it was a little nuts because I'm not a person that eats a huge variety of those type of foods. And so I found it quite fascinating. I started out with, I didn't eat eggs for years. I started eating eggs. Now I eat eggs all the time. I love them. But I was trying so hard to hit the 75% of my calories in fat that it was making me crazy for a few days. But once I got really into it and started looking at some recipes and making sure that my foods were coming from whole sources, not anything processed. I'm totally against doing any kind of keto with a lot of processed foods. The energy level that I hit in a few days was quite amazing. The clarity, my head was very clear. I started sleeping much deeper. I felt wonderful. I was very active in getting all these things done. I didn't have that kind of keto flu that people talk about that you get a few days in. I didn't have any of that. I did drop a little bit of weight. I don't have a whole lot of weight to kind of play with, but I did drop some weight. I did feel wonderful. I was putting, to hit my fat amount, I was putting coconut oil in my coffee twice a day, tablespoons. And I still do that in the morning. That's one of my ways of getting one of my fats in. But I kind of liked it, and I've done it on and off. I haven't really done it for more than a month at a time, because after about a month, I kind of want to eat a really big salad or a piece of bread. And so I kind of cycle in and out of it. But my opinion of it has changed drastically. And I do think that if it's done correctly, it can be of great benefit to people. But I've also seen a lot of the dirty keto, where it's lots of bacon, red meat, and what is the thing, the pig skin? What is that? The fried pork rinds.
Oh yeah.
That's like the number one snack people and I can't eat that. That doesn't appeal to me at all. But hearing about people with like bags of pork rinds and all that kind of, that's what gave me kind of a bad opinion about the whole thing. But the healthy way of doing it, after learning and educating myself and trying it myself, I'm actually doing a cycle of it right now, and I feel fabulous. So it's something that I did notice a huge health change in a matter of 4 days. So
when somebody comes off of keto, say that, you see drastic results, like people lose 100 pounds on keto. So when somebody comes off of keto, what happens?
Well, if they're doing dirty keto and they keep eating like that, they're going to put the weight back on. And a lot of the people that I have seen do keto for a period of time and go off did put the weight right back on, or at least a good amount of it. I have also known some people that did it very specifically and very well that kept the weight off. Mm-hmm. So that's something to really consider. You don't want to come off of keto and go on a month-long carbohydrate and fat kind of binge and just eating all kinds of stuff. So it's something you have to be very mindful about.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is Infertility Awareness Week. And so this is a significant thing that I deal with in my practice as well. I have dozens of women that I'm currently working with right now. And so I can't even get them to a point where I can boost their fertility, because we have to work on weight first, right, before we can boost fertility. And so I'm basically at the core of it, I'm a hormones coach, and so are you. And so what are some kind of tips that you can give women that are trying to get pregnant that'll kind of help them lose weight in a healthy way that supports their hormones?
I would definitely say make sure that you have your healthy fats in your diet. And I would say 30 to 40% of your calories a day. Yeah. Definitely want to make sure you're getting your folic acid. The omega-3s, the fish oils, all extremely important. In trying to get pregnant, this is something I don't really think about too much. It's been 20 years for me since I did all that. But in trying to get pregnant, not losing weight quickly or drastically would be the number one thing that I would say. Making sure that your weight that you want to be is in a healthy range. Because I've seen people do drastic things to try to get down to a weight, and they've screwed up the rest of their body in the process.
So it's a delicate balance. Yeah, I tell women that all the time, that are just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go lose weight. I'm just gonna go on a water fast for 3 days. And it's like, oh, but you want to get pregnant soon, so you need to lose weight in a way that it doesn't hurt your hormones. Because you can, of course, I'm okay with you doing fasting and things like that for spiritual reasons or whatever else. But if you're just doing it I'm just going to only have water for 3 days just so I can lose weight. If you're trying to get pregnant, that's going to cause serious issues. You also want to nourish your reproductive system while you're losing weight. So that goes hand in hand. So in terms of fat from meats, can you educate us just a little bit more about that, what you believe in your practice? So are there certain types of meat that have bad fats, for example?
Well, I mean, when I think of bad fats, I think of foods that are very processed, which would be your bacons and your sausages, those types of foods. Again, we come down to the Southern eating. There's all kinds of ways of preparing and eating different meats in the South that, they might be tasty, but they're not really that healthy for you. I would just really recommend that people eat the leanest cuts of meat that they can get and monitor the amount of meat. You don't need to have meat every meal of the day. There's other ways, other sources of the proteins and amino acids that we need that we can get through other foods without trying to get it all through with meat, especially red meat, things like that. But the processed bacon, sausage, everything that's been cured with salt is a big no-no.
Yeah, I agree. And so Can you talk to us a little bit more about like what a healthy amount of weight to lose per week would be? So I have, for example, I have one of my one of the wonderful ladies that I work with. She lost 2 pounds in a week, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And she's like, "Oh no, that's it." She was very disappointed.
Oh yeah,
The fact that she lost 2 pounds in 1 week. She was like, "My goal is to try to lose 6 pounds in a week."
no.
No. We want us to be able to get you pregnant after this. So, what have you found in your practice is a healthy amount per week?
Between 1 pound and 2 pounds a week. I think when people first start to diet, especially people that are looking to lose a larger amount of weight, they will see a bigger drop that first week or two, because it's the water, it's the flushing of all of the toxins in the body, the flushing of the colon, all of that kind of cleaning itself out. But losing, and I have had, in the past, I have had clients that were consistently dropping 4 or 5 pounds, and they were not people that needed to drop a lot of weight. They were working out excessively. Your body cannot maintain that. That's just not, it's not healthy for the heart. It's not healthy for the organs. And at some point, you might be able to rev your metabolism up that high, especially for younger people. In their 20s, I've seen girls get ready for their wedding and they're dropping weight like crazy in their 20s, and they're working out all day, and it will come back on very quickly once you stop, because your metabolism will kind of screw itself up after a while. You can't keep that pace up. So I anything up to 2 pounds a week. I mean, 1/4 of a pound a week is still a pound a month. It's all slow progress, and it's just following through and following that progress. Each little ounce adds up at some point, but anything over 2 pounds a week consistently is just not considered healthy.
Yeah, I like the 1. In my practice, I push for 1 pound a week. And so when she was telling me 2 pounds a week, I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. And she's like, no, it's not good enough.
I have heard that. I've had people very disappointed. They will drop 7 or 8 pounds in the first week or 10 days. And then they get upset because by week 3, it's only 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds.
Yeah.
And they're, but I don't understand. Why can't I just, your body just doesn't work that way.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So can you, educate us a little bit on the differences in losing weight when you are having a menstrual cycle versus when you're going through menopause? So it's a dream of mine to one day work with women that are going through menopause. And so do you know of any differences in like how your body's able to lose weight because you have a menstrual cycle versus not?
I think the menstrual cycle, a lot of women get that whole, the cravings, the weight gain, the bloating right before or during, and it drives you nuts. I remember that clearly. Menopause, and my menopause was not terrible. Mine was not terrible. But what I noticed is that, number 1, your metabolism has slowed down because of your age. Number 2, for a lot of women, that pre-menstrual period of the bloating and the cravings, for a lot of women, when they hit the menopause, perimenopause, that's all the time.
Oh.
So that's kind of an all the time. I've had women say to me, I am always having PMS all the time. And so that's the first thing that I hear from people discussing this, is that I'm in constant PMS. I'm craving this salt, I'm craving this sugar, I'm bloated, I'm tired, I don't want to get on the scale, I can feel it in my body, I'm retaining water. But instead of lasting 2 days or 3 days, it lasts for years for some people, which can be very frustrating.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way. Because your hormones are functioning completely different at that point. And some that are active during certain points of the menstrual cycle are just kind of shut down once you're in menopause. So it's a completely different experience. Well, Sami, I can talk to you for hours. Just to wrap up, how can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook. under Be Well Health business page, BEE as in the bumblebee, Be Well Health. You can follow me on Instagram at Be Well Coach. And again, that's like a bumblebee. I'm Sami Bee. So Be Well Coach on Instagram. And you can also find me at www.bewell.com for my blog, and lots of freebies around there as well.
Amazing. It is always a pleasure to chat with you, and I'm sure we'll have many more discussions as time goes by. All right, Sami.
Awesome to be here.
Thank you all for joining us. Come back tomorrow, same time. Come back the day after, same time. Come back the day after that, same time. We've got wonderful women that are coming to talk to us, especially if you're trying to get pregnant, trying to regulate your hormones. Stay tuned. We've got good information. All right, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.